the ground! I'll be right behind you. Jacob! I'll be right behind you. Okay.
On the eve of D-Day, American paratroopers drop behind enemy lines to penetrate the walls of a fortified church and destroy a radio transmitter. As the soldiers approach their target, they soon begin to realize that there's more going on in the Nazi-occupied village than a simple military operation. Making their way to an underground lab, the outnumbered men stumble upon a sinister experiment that forces them into a vicious battle against an army of the undead. Welcome to another feature presentation of Midnight Double Feature, and on this episode we'll be covering 2018's Overlord, directed by Julius Avery.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Midnight Double Feature. This is a feature presentation where we are covering Overlord. Colin, what is happening?
Not much, dude. Excited. Ready to jump into this shit. I've owned this movie for a couple of years, and this is the first time I've watched it.
That baffles me. That whole, let me buy this but not watch it. But yeah, I know that you've been really keen to see this, and this is a movie that I had, I guess, been wanting to choose for a while now. I kind of wanted to choose it for Halloween, but we kind of got, we had some other picks in mind, and this just keeps getting pushed to the back of the line for me, and I'm just like, yes, I need to choose this immediately. I'll get to my thoughts, and our thoughts, rather, in a second. Let me plug what we have coming up. We have a couple of updates, actually. We just dropped an update about our sister podcast, Midnight Double Feature Presents Bad Crystal, a Breaking Bad podcast. We will be launching Season 2 in January 2021 because we are stretched quite thin here during December. Mm-hmm. It's the holidays, and we want to prioritize you guys, our main feed, Midnight Double Feature, and our members of the Green Room, which is our bonus feed. Head to patreon.com/Midnight Double Feature to become a part of the Green Room, where we just dropped our Reservoir Dogs episode. If you want to hear our coverage of Reservoir Dogs, Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs, head to patreon.com/Midnight Double Feature, because you guys won't hear it on the main feed here. You guys, if you guys want to hear what Colin thinks of Mr. Pink, then head to Patreon.
Much like the Germans fighting the Russians and the Americans, our lines are stretched thin.
There you go. Indeed, there's a timely reference for you. But yeah, we have so much stuff coming up. We're excited for 2021, and hopefully. Hopefully we're going to roll right through the month of December uninterrupted. But just in case, we're going to wish you guys a happy and safe holidays. But we have no plans to slow down. This train does not stop.
Hell yeah.
Guys, again, thank you so much for joining us here in Midnight Feature. If you want to head to our socials, check the show notes, because I am done announcing that shit. Just check the show notes, scroll down. It's all there, all the details. The only thing I'm going to plug is our Patreon. Again, that's patreon.com/Midnight Feature. Or if you want anything and everything, including merch or where to find us, head to midnightfeature.com. Colin, I know you've been really wanting to check this movie out for a while, so I'm going to hand it off to you. Give me your thoughts on Overlord.
Word. Yeah, I was very excited about this. I love zombie films. I'm not huge on wartime, Platoon, We Were Soldiers, Saving Private Ryan. They're great movies. I'm just not really high up on war movies, So seeing a combination of the two of them was interesting. There really hasn't been a World War II zombie film, except maybe there's Dead Snow that's about Nazis, zombies thawing out in the snow or something. But my big pull for this was that I'm a huge fan of like the kind of original, the original Call of Duty Zombies, and it's hard to see that if this was not an inspiration on that. I haven't done any investigating any research to see if that was the case, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if one of these guys played this game and is like, hey, you know what? This make a pretty cool fucking movie, like a smaller budget movie. So I kind of went into it expecting something like that. I did enjoy it, but it still kind of left me wanting a lot more because I wanted to see a proper like Call of Duty, Tank Dempsey, Nikolai, all the Takiao, and
Knockdown Titan.
Yeah, exactly. Kino der Toten. What is the German guy's name? I'm always drawing a blank. Richthofen. To see all four of those guys, and that storyline is interesting. It is convoluted as all fucking get out now, and they finally ended it, I think, on like Black Ops 4 or something. But I love all four of those characters. I love just the whole being time traveled and going through time and space and winding up in different places and stuff. So I think, this is probably the closest you're ever going to get in film. There's no way that they would have some crazy ass story like they do in the video games for a movie. But I've had ideas for like Call of Duty Zombies like movies before. My favorite map is Kino der Toten. I still play that like religiously. I played Black Ops 4, bought it, hated it. Haven't played Cold War, played World War II, bought it, hated it, didn't really care about the zombies. Black Ops 3 is where I hang out, and I only play Kino der Toten, and I'm always like, I think I got to 44 or 48. That's the highest that I've gone with people. And that took some strategic planning, everybody with headsets and stuff. So I immediately was really gunning for this movie and had high hopes for it. I do think it's a good movie. But there's some problems with it. I'll say like it seems to meander a little bit at certain points. And I really thought that this really only takes place in a couple of locations. It's not anything real crazy. But for the most part, I liked it. I liked the cast a lot. I was really, really surprised because I love Bokeem Woodbine. I love that guy. And I remember he's been in shit. That guy was in... Yeah, well, he was in like X-Files episodes way back in the day. He's in Spider-Man. Like, he's got a very distinctive look. Very, very distinctive look.
Perfect choice for the sergeant, I think.
Yes,
the kind of authority figure. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I enjoyed this a lot. It just wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to seriously be like, zombies walking, slow moving zombies. It's a little bit more like 28 Days Later than that, and they're not even really zombies. There's more of an explanation of it behind that. But all in all, I enjoyed it. I was expecting just a little bit more, but what I got, I was not at all disappointed by. I really enjoyed it for blending these two genres together pretty damn well. Ignoring the Call of Duty thing, or World War II zombie film, for lack of a better, I guess, definition, it did a damn good job. I really enjoyed it. The brutality of the war too, just in these first opening scenes, is fucking great.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting to me that you singled out World War II and zombie, both of those genres, and that you are a lot heavier on the zombie genre and less so on the World War II genre. I am the other way around. I am...
Oh, really?
I love the World War II genre, dude, and I am less so into the zombie genre. I think only because eventually it starts to feel a little repetitive to me. It's just like, oh, yeah, sure, whatever. Whereas, like, I feel like in World War II, there's just a lot of stories you can tell. Like, you can tell the Saving Private Ryan, you can tell the Schindler's List, you can tell the Das Boot, and then you can tell Overlord. And I watched this movie in cinemas. Actually, on my friend's birthday, my mate Damien's birthday, based solely off the trailer alone. It's a fantastic trailer. It's Hell's Bells by AC/DC. You hear the guitar riff over the planes going in, and I'm just like, okay, I'm intrigued. And then the trailer ends, and it's like, oh shit, okay, so they're doing zombies, awesome. We went to the movies and we watched it, and we were expecting, what you were expecting, like this giant kind of like schlocky action film where it's just, World War II, Nazi zombies, Call of Duty, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think we were both kind of like genuinely surprised in that it was very strategic World War II tactics mixed in with, I guess, if you were to, so if you wanted to like percentage this, it would be 60% World War II, 40% zombies, or even less than that. Even
Yeah.
like there's like it's not 50-50 exactly. It's more 70-30 in World War II's favor, and I think, man, like for me, that was what sealed the deal for me. It was a huge surprise for me. I walked out of this movie being like, God damn, that was a very competently made movie. Like, that was really, really competent. Like, I'd never heard of this director, Julius Avery. Turns out he's from Western Australia, which is awesome.
Oh, cool.
And he is now getting a shitload of work, man. Like, he's working on another movie for Bad Robot, which is J.J. Abrams' company, which also produced this. A movie called The Heavy, which is interesting, but he also literally just this week got announced to direct a Van Helsing movie for Universal, which is awesome.
Word. Dude,
he's having another crack at that.
Good pick.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Seeing the practical effects and stuff for this, absolutely. And interestingly, he's also in line to direct a remake of Flash Gordon for Matthew Vaughn, alongside Matthew Vaughn.
Okay.
Which is wild. I don't know how you get to Julius Avery for this, but yeah, I'm on board. So yeah, man, like an Australian director, which is really, which really kind of like makes me, I guess, proud. You kind of like to see an Australian director kind of in cahoots with someone as big of a name as J.J. Abrams. Like, that is in itself pretty huge. This was heavily rumored to be a fourth Cloverfield film, but I think J.J. Abrams stepped out and shut that shit down pretty much immediately. He's like, hey, don't get this into your head. This is not Cloverfield. But yeah, man, like I walked out of this movie like super surprised. It is incredibly super competent. I dig the characters. I dig the vibe. Like, the sound design is absolutely incredible. The cinematography is awesome. I did not want to mention this here on the podcast, but because we're covering Overlord, maybe it's a good time to mention it. We are trying to get, and we might be able to, the cinematographer of this movie as a guest, Fabian Wagner.
Oh, word.
Yeah, so, like we're kind of like in early talks, but he also shot Game of Thrones, some of the biggest episodes, including Battle of the Bastards. He shot Justice League. I messaged him and he's just like, yeah, man, I'm totally down for an interview. I'm just shooting over the next couple of weeks. How about you message me, about a month or two? And I was like, yeah, sure, no worries. And come to find out, he's shooting the reshoots for Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I was like, just casually, no worries, awesome.
Even I didn't know about this show. We've had a lot lately, so I'm kind of like, which one did he do?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I know that sounds like such a dickish thing to be like, we've had a lot of interviews lately, but seriously, I'm kind of like, hey, I'm not on those a lot. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Well, I mean, if we do get that, that's great and all. If it doesn't, I'm going to look like a fucking dickhead. But even still, we the fact that I even talked to
panned out better than my interview. We're not even going to go into that. You got to listen to the bonus feed for that. Names will not be mentioned. But yeah, man, I thought this was a fantastic movie. It's kind of like a good palate cleanser considering how heavy like the movies we have been doing lately. Like I was going to say The Body, like Stand By Me and The Wrestler. Yeah, it's kind of like a good let's just chill out for a bit and just rock kind of movie.
Literally, yeah, that's exactly it. And not only that, dude, I like the idea of. Because the Nazis, there is no proof that they tried to zombify people, but there was an element of the Nazis and Germans, particularly in that era, who were trying to find the key for immortality.
Yeah, there's a lot of occult shit, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, like, that's the plot of, The Last Crusade, right? I mean...
Hellboy,
Hellboy, yeah, it's everywhere. So I did do some research, actually, and I'm just going to read this out. So I'm going to butcher this. The Undead, I don't know how to pronounce that in German, literally means inheritance of the forefathers, was a research group into the paranormal established by order of the SS head Heinrich Himmler in 1935. It was expanded during the Second World War on direct orders from Hitler. Hitler's interest in the occult and the interest of many of the Nazi leaders is well documented. Nazi Party actually began as an occult fraternity before it morphed into a political party.
That's weird.
Himmler's SS was conceived of and designed based on occult beliefs. Werwolsburg, the castle headquarters of the SS, was the site of initiation rituals for SS knights that were modeled on Arthurian legend. The magical powers of runes were invoked, and the Ahnurnabi logo sports rune-style lettering. Psychics and astrologers were employed to attack the enemy and plan tactics based on the alignment of the stars. Nazis tried to create super soldiers using steroids and drug cocktails in twisted interpretations of Nietzsche's Übermensch. So, I mean...
How'd that work out for him?
a thousand year Reich, right? What are you talking about? I'm about to walk downstairs to the old I'm gonna walk into the fucking Nazi god down there.
Right.
Like, it's fine.
No, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's actually a great bit in Hellboy where when I think it's John Mayer is the agent's name starting off, and he's walking through with John Hurt, the professor or whatever, and he's like, Hitler got the spear that pierced the side of Christ, and he finally got it removed from him, and he died in 1955, and he's like, Hitler died in 1945. He's like, haha. Did he? And I'm like, oh, I love that, man. I love it.
And I love this. And this is something that Josh from LSJ Media loves as well. Like the alternate history kind of stuff. Like we talked about this too, right? Watchmen, like we've talked about Watchmen as well, like the alternate 1960s. That is some of my favorite shit, dude. Like I love that in film. So yeah,
right.
This was a no-brainer pick for me.
And if you guys haven't, by the way, if you don't know who the fuck we're referencing, you need to check out LSG Media. They do the Lost Drive-In. They've got a lot of different podcasts, but check them out at the Lost Drive-In. Josh, one of the hosts over there, Dean, Jessica, Matt, all those guys, fucking love them. They've been on the show a lot. There's also a YouTube channel you can check out called Alternate History Hub, and I just found them this week, and it was like, what would happen if Reagan was never elected? What happened if we never got into World War II? Like all of the stuff, and there's no definitive answer, but there's a lot of like educational guesses based off of history.
There's a lot of what if, absolutely, like speculation, absolutely, and I man, again, I love that shit. Like one of my favorite things is what was it? We were watching. What is it? It's 11/22/63, right? Like, I mean, the whole
that's literally
preventing the murder of JFK, and then there's the show, The Man in the High Castle. Like, what if the Nazis had won? Like, like that whole thing.
That's a guy who wrote Blade Runner. That's Philip K. Dick.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I love it. I love it. One of the things that really I don't know why I never looked it up, but the title Overlord kind of stuck out to me, and I was like, what the fuck is Overlord? Because the only time I'd heard of Overlord was Modern Warfare, right? This is Overlord, whatever.
Is that the name of the operation? Overlord?
Yeah.
You uncultured swine.
Operation Overlord was the code name for the Battle of Normandy, the Allied operation that launched a successful invasion of German-occupied Western Europe during World War II. The operation was launched on 6th of June 1944 with the Normandy landings. A 1,200-plane airborne assault preceded an amphibious assault involving more than 5,000 vessels. You can just go and watch the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan.
Right.
Nearly 160,000 troops crossed the English Channel on 6th of June, and more than 2 million Allied troops were in France by the end of August. Awesome.
Damn. What's interesting? I'm sorry to cut you off. I was like, I don't
please.
know anything of what happened to Australia in World War II. No knowledge at all. And I was like, I'm sure it was the Second Great War, so I'm sure they were there. As a part of the British Empire, Australia was among the first nations to declare war on Nazi Germany, and between 39 and 45, nearly 1 million Australian men and women served in what was going to be World War II. They fought in campaigns in the Europe, Mediterranean, and North Africa. I had no idea. So they were one of the first people to be like, all right, motherfucker, you want a piece of this? Cheeky, get me my boomerang.
And that's kind of like one of the things, man. Like, I mean, when you swear when your allegiance is to Britain, right? Like when your allegiance is to the Queen, when they get in war, we get in war. Like, it's kind of like one of those things,
right? And
I believe the closest the war came in terms of the actual fighting to Australia, the closest the war came was to bombings in Darwin. So Darwin is north, like right at the tip, like right up there. Mm-hmm. And I think from memory, Japanese planes bombed Darwin from memory. Mm. So that was the closest it ever reached. But we definitely sent troops over there. I mean, Canberra, the Australian War Memorial in Canberra is a place where most of our field trips were, as when we were in primary school. We used to go take a bus and like do camping and shit in Canberra to go see the Australian War Memorial. It's interesting to me that this is the first World War II film that we've covered. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
I'm actually really, really surprised by that. Like, you know, we just talked about the Dead Zone and how I said it's weird that was the first Cronenberg movie. This is the first World War II movie. This is not the first one that would jump to my mind in terms of like us covering it.
Right. Yeah, 100%. That's not. I guess it makes sense for me to cover a World War II movie. It's like you gotta spin that a little bit my way. You gotta give something for me. It's like it's a zombie movie. Okay, cool. There we go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna choose Schindler's List. I mean, that thing is like 3 hours long. All right, let's get into this. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Awesome. So the opening sequence of this movie is fucking impressive, man. This is a huge opening scene. And like the budget of this movie, let's talk about this, $38 million. It's one of those movies where I feel like they really kind of like stretch the budget, like in terms of like what they're doing, like what is on the script. Like, you know, you've got this giant theater of war sequence right at the start. It's period piece, so you need everything to be period appropriate, right? So you need them to have Thompson machine guns. You need them to have MP40s. You need the actual buildings, the villages to look actually, you know, age appropriate. You know, I guess time appropriate. And then you've got the zombie element of it. Yeah. You've got the zombie element of it as well, which doesn't necessarily require CGI, but a lot of good practical effects. And not only that, but you've got the end sequence too, which is that long ass tracking shot of Boyce running out of the church, and like, you know, the church is like collapsing in the background. Like, I feel like they spent the 38 million really wisely by not choosing really super known actors. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I was going to say that. And, you know, I'm a fan of these movies that really kind of keep it, you know, Brightburn was a really good one. You know, even Dead Zone we just talked about, that was 10 million in 1983. It's probably like 35 now. But there's something about that middle of the road 10 million to 15 million to $20 million movie that I really like. So I enjoy this, especially for the budget that they had it at, but it didn't make shit back. Like, I don't think it did very well, did it?
41.7 million. I mean, like, it's pretty much
made your money back, but
yeah.
That sucks, man.
Yeah, it does suck, but like, it's interesting because like, I think directors like Julius Avery, who haven't made a huge movie, can do so much with a budget like this, right? I mean, like, I think ages ago we talked about Dredd, and Dredd had a similar budget, and that movie does a good job with not showing that it's like its budget, and that director, Pete Travis, is not a very established director, right? Like, they can make him stretch. That's what I'm saying.
Dude, I'll tell you, another good one that I love that follows that is Chronicle. Chronicle's like 12 million, and it's like, damn, I fucking for that ending in like the middle of town and there's cops everywhere, and so I was like, man, you really stretched that 12 million, you know. No, but still, that's like pre-fame Michael B. Jordan, you know. That's like getting your start kind of shit.
Well, District 9, right? $30 million, like Neil Blomkamp. You can really stretch that budget to have cutting edge effects and huge action sequences, and yeah, absolutely. So, again, the opening sequences of this movie is fucking impressive, man. Open with this big, epic, sweeping shots of planes flying over these battleships. I love the old school title card. Like, it feels very classy. It feels like you're watching a movie from this era. Like, you know, the 1940s, 1950s. Again, this is a massive sequence, so we can just kind of, like, talk about our noteworthy moments. You know, we met our boy, Private Boyce. So this actor I'd never really seen before, but he popped up in Watchmen. He was Will Reeves, the younger Will Reeves, the Hooded Justice.
Oh, okay.
You know, in that flashback that we see him in? Yeah, absolutely. He's going to be in The Stand. He's playing Larry Underwood. I don't know who that is, but
hell yeah, dude, that's cool. He's like a singer that survives the apocalypse and shit. That's what's up.
I just finished The Leftovers. He was in The Leftovers. He played Michael Murphy in season 2 and 3. So I guess he's a big Damon Lindelof fan because Lindelof used him in Watchmen, which is great. So we also meet Corporal Ford, played by Wyatt Russell. Tell me you know about Wyatt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, I don't know that name. Yeah, I wasn't super familiar with anybody in the cast. He doesn't look a goddamn thing like Kurt Russell.
I know a few.
The only person I recognized was Woodbine as the sergeant. That was it. And looking through the cast now, there's still like I have no clue who any of these people are. You know, he was the only name, and that's not. I don't want to say like he's not even really a big name, but like he's really not. I haven't seen him in anything else. You know, I'm not a huge. Maybe I just missed some stuff, but
I'd actually say Wyatt Russell's probably the biggest name in this. I mean, he was in 22 Jump Street. He played a pretty big part in 22. He is going to be in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He's playing U.S. agent. So I don't know who that is in terms of like comic book. But
oh yeah, it's like an off-brand. Yeah, it's like an off-brand Captain America. Yeah,
cool. He was in a really good episode of Black Mirror called Playtest. If you haven't seen that, check it out. It's all about virtual reality. It's fantastic. No lucky charm is going to turn you into a soldier, says this guy Tibbet. Right, Tibbet has a thing out for. He's got it out for fucking Boyce. And Boyce is visibly afraid to head into battle, right? I mean, like this is quite clearly he's been drafted and he's fucking frightened, right? Mm-hmm. And then enter Bokeem Woodbine as Sergeant Renson. I love his speech about being as rotten as the Germans, talk about their objective, bringing down this tower, and Ford's got the explosives. It's just a little crap hello, ladies, when they get into the firefight.
This shit was fucking nerve-wracking, and I was like, how? This cannot be an effective use of, like, there's planes going down all around. He's like, did nobody think, like, you know what? We should just, like, take submarines, and when we get to land, we'll just take them off into the air. And, like it just, like, watching something like this, it's like, is this what's happening on every other plane? How did anybody survive this shit, you know? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like pumping, it's like spending $10 to get $2 back. It's like, you didn't really see a return on that. I don't know. But hey, you know, what do I know? I've never been in a war.
Well, that's the World War II of it all, right? Like just how fucked up some of these situations were, you know, like just how fucked up, like sending these young men into these situations. It's insane. But yeah, they're getting hit with flak cannons. They have to drop early. Dude, the sound design here is brilliant. Like you've got this like boom, 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 like drumming score. And then you hear the flak cannons and then the klaxon comes on. It's like bop, and then the sound just drops out, and you just hear. Yeah,
I heard that when they did this, they actually just blew the ass out of a plane and then turned it upside down. And I was like, awesome. Who do you think you are, Chris Nolan? Back the fuck up, dude.
I love it, man. One of the soldiers vomits, and goddamn, just the floor just disappears in a hail of gunfire. Just absolutely wrecked. Again, the music, the drums. We follow Boyce on his way down. The camera holds on his panicking face as chaos just rains down on him. Again, sound design is awesome here, and the sound design just doesn't let up until he hits the water. I love that in films like this, dude. Like, you know, it's just the chaos above the water. Then as soon as he's under, it's just like nothing.
Well, and it gave me such anxiety of like, dude, drowning absolutely terrifies me. It's a phobia of mine. But then also having to go up, and when you hit the surface, there's your parachute. And I was like, oh, fuck that, man.
Yeah. There's a lot of like visual moments, especially in this opening scene, where I was just like, God damn, that looks beautiful. Like, you know, when Boyce crawls out of the water and there's the fire in the background and just kind of like this orange glow. I just say, man, this is a fucking good looking movie. Boyce comes across Sergeant, I think it was Renson. Yeah, Renson. Essentially being blown away like Alex Murphy in RoboCop.
Yeah. Man, I saw it and I was like, that fucking sucks, man. Like I kind of thought he was going to be a bigger part. But yeah, he definitely get Alex Murphy. They don't him, but yeah, he definitely gets Alex Murphy.
Yeah, totally. He's also linked up with Corporal Ford, who reminds him that they need to get to that tower and they need to get it down by 0600. And man, there's a shot here of like hanging bodies in the woods, and like there's an orange glow of fire behind him, man. Fucking, I remember seeing that in the trailer, and I was like, that is beautiful. Like, fucking beautiful.
That is straight up some Call of Duty shit. And I was like, that definitely, that feels so much like something you see in the loading menu of Black Ops 2 or Black Ops 3.
Yes. Absolutely. We link up with the rest of the team, Tibbet, Chase, Dawson. This guy Dawson is from Game of Thrones. He played Grey Worm. And the stuff with the camera is great. Yeah. You get scenic shots with it. Yeah. He fucking breaks it, and he's like, it's like hanging,
I knew it.
It's like having a spotlight around your head.
This guy's being way too nice.
And Dawson gets got by a landmine. And you just know that he's not going to make it when he starts talking about his hopes and dreams and about writing a book, and that he's not going to make it.
Right.
Hey, pro tip. soldiers in movies don't have hopes and dreams. Don't do that shit.
Just run around saying, I'm going to die, and you'll probably be fine. But no, yeah, as soon as he was like, yeah, I got this book, my mom was a cook, and I was like, this guy's 2 days away from retirement, about to be dead. Like, might as well whip out a picture of your girl and be like, well, we got triplets back home. Like, just some poor, simple guy.
You might as well be a teenager in a Friday the 13th film, either splitting up from the rest of the group or having sex. You know, you're gone.
He's such a nice, like, likable guy. He's just real positive, and you kind of get the feeling like, man, this guy's, you know, he's got a bit of a story. He's going to be here for a minute, and the next he's like Chunky Campbell Soup. It's like, fuck, man.
Totally, and that's again like the Bokeem Woodbine of it all, right? It until he starts telling that story, it's kind of unexpected that he's going to die. Like it's just like, oh shit, all right, cool. So they eventually get to the tree line. I love, by the way, before they get to the tree line, I do like them kind of like. Tippett's got the bayonet, like stabbing the thing, and he's like, make sure you do it lightly.
Yeah. How will I know? You'll know. How will I know if it's too much? Like, oh, you'll fucking know.
So we come across what they think is this mutilated dog in the woods, and Chase believes it's a jackal, one of the demons from hell. What do you think about this? This is kind of like your first, I guess, clue or inkling.
Yeah, I dig it. I think one thing is like even more so than like all the, you know, oh, there's some spooky stuff. It's like I wasn't even really paying attention to that. It was the banter in the background of these guys where he's like, I mean, a jackal is a type of hellhound. Like they're having like actual discussions. Like, dude, the banter in this is like, what the fuck? You have no right to be that funny in like a World War II horror sci-fi like movie. But no, I love seeing that body because it's a little bit of like, what the fuck is this? Is this one of the Nazi? Is this like round 6 and it's dogs on Keynote or Totem? Is this like, get their souls?
You know when you kill them, they're going to drop a fucking max ammo.
Yeah,
like, you know,
everybody reload.
You're like, yes.
Dude, I saw a great meme and it was like, yeah, she lets you nut inside of her, but does she let you reload before getting a max ammo? And I was like, perfect. That's amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, like I kind of want to like circle back a little bit to what you were saying. Like these guys have no right to have the chemistry that they do with each other, because this could have just been like a World War II zombie schlock movie. But I think the charm in this movie is just the extra steps Julius Avery goes to make this an actual movie, an actual film. Like, you know, like with really somewhat likable characters and really solid production design and really great sound design, really solid cinematography. You don't need all of this for a zombie Nazi film. Like, you know, you just don't, but it's all there and I'm fucking grateful.
Right. It's like you had me at zombie Nazi. Anything after that is just kind of like icing on the cake, but there's a lot of icing on it, you know?
Absolutely. Boyce spots this woman who we come to know as Chloe in the trees, and Ford orders him to grab her. They catch up to her and she's not very forthcoming with information, but as a sign of trust, Ford gives her his knife and asks Boyce to ask her to lead the way to the village. Right? So, because he speaks French.
God, she's hot as fuck, dude. Like, she's not like Inglourious Bastards Melanie Laurent, like hot.
I was just about to say, she looks just like her. She's very like similar looking, right? She's got that Frenchish, you know, look.
She's like a brunette Supergirl, the woman who was in Whiplash and stuff, Allison something. I can't remember her name.
Oh, Melissa Benoist.
There you go. No, yeah, this woman is just, but there's something about her. I was like, good God, like,
yeah.
Between her and Melanie Laurent, I'm like, it's the blonde versus the brunette. You're like, I don't know, but it's like, that she pulls a knife and she starts stabbing motherfuckers. I'm like, oh, please, God, you're just she's absolutely gorgeous, dude. And I've never seen this woman in anything, but she kills it. And she's a great, strong, like female character. Like she literally looks down the barrel of a sexual assault and is like, I just have to do this to get through this. And you're like, holy fuck. But also
we'll get to that again. Like that was totally unexpected.
Yeah.
Like, totally unexpected in this movie.
Having the, you know, what is she out? She's like stealing stuff. She's like taking stuff off dead bodies. And I'm like, dude, this is somebody who like has agency. This is somebody who's like, this is what I have to do. I'm not waiting for some hero. Like, I've got to go do this shit. And I'm like, cool. I fucking dig that. Like, I really like her character a lot.
Right. I guess it's a good thing that Boyce found her alone in the woods and not Colin.
Oh, yeah. I was like, wait, there's a character named Colin?
What happened there? She lets them take refuge in her house after some sneaking around, and we learn that there's a curfew here and that citizens aren't afraid to snitch, right? Like this one lady mentions that the captain will take Chloe to the church, and she fucking calls the whistle. She blows the whistle. What a bitch.
I hope they put rat poison in our baguette or something. Like, I hope you fucking die.
Dude, like, these are the fucking neighbors that you were just telling me about off air.
Yeah.
These are the neighbors.
These are my fucking, and I can't believe it because it's like, this woman probably lives next door. They're on basically first name basis.
Yeah.
This is not just somebody, in your neighborhood, but it's like, this is the woman who, like, probably got juice into her house and like, sure, yeah, you can hide. And they're like, oh, I'll be right back though. And then ran and got the Nazis and were like, there's juice trying to hide in my house. And it's like, oh, you piece of shit.
Anne Frank is in the attic. Anne Frank.
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
that's a.
This woman is fucking awful. And like, I hope they arrest her for like assisting with war crimes. Like, no, you're a piece of shit, lady.
Well, she's the one they blow away, right? Like they look out the attic of not long later, and
I don't know. I can't remember.
Because my assumption is that she's the one because they weren't able to find anyone, right? So she called them, they weren't able to find him, and they blew her away for making a false call.
Oh, okay. See, I wasn't paying. I remember because they shoot the woman and take the man away, but I wasn't paying attention to exactly what she was wearing.
Did you watch the fucking movie?
Yeah, I did, but I saw it and I was like, I thought it was somebody else's house,
No, I'm just fucking with you. Chloe lives with her 8-year-old brother Paul and her aunt, who's been disfigured by Nazi experiments taking place in the church. This whole build up to the aunt. I really dig because we know we're like at this point, right? We know we're watching a movie where there will be some supernatural shit going on, right? I mean, like this is because up until this point, you are sold a World War II movie, right? Let's say you haven't seen the trailer. Let's say you don't know anything about the premise at all. You're being sold a World War II movie where these guys need to get in before the troops land on Normandy on the beach and take out this tower. It's a straight up World War II film. But then you're kind of like introduced to this whole element of like, they're going to be taken to this church. And then my aunt was brought back from this church and we're getting these like horror-esque shots of like her breathing and her breathing doesn't sound normal. And then it's just like, oh shit, what is going on here? Like what's happening? I really like the build up to the supernatural stuff. I think I think they don't stick the whole dick immediately. They're just like hit you with the tip a little bit.
Right. Well, and you're setting up the fact of like you saw the trailer, you looked at the poster, you know what's going on, you know what you signed up for. This is not We Were Soldiers. So it's like you know to some degree there's going to be some spooky supernatural kind of shit going on. But to what degree is it like when you say Nazi occult, it's such an umbrella term of like what exactly these people could be after. So it's like, is this like actual occult? Is this scientific stuff? Like, is it somewhere in between? But yeah, just seeing this small village and seeing the fact that they, and I don't want to skip too far ahead, but the weird part is to me that they didn't kill both of these, the man and the woman in that scene. The fact that they shot the woman and then took the man off. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. And I was like, because normally, I mean, a lot of those movies, they kill the man and then it's like Mad Max 2, when you're like, they kill the guy with the arrows and then rape the woman and stuff. And I was like, I kind of thought that that's where this was going. But the fact that they shot her and just took him off. And I was like, well, what the fuck are they doing with him? It leaves a lot to be, it leaves a lot of pondering.
Yeah, I mean, they might have needed a male subject or someone of that age. Like it brings up a lot of questions in terms of like how they're conducting these experiments. We get our first look at SS Hauptsturmführer Waffner, played by this guy. His name's Pilo. God, I'm gonna look his name up because I know like this guy's been in shit. Like he's been in some stuff. His name's Pilo Asbayik. I probably fucked that up. But he played, most notably, Euron Greyjoy in Game of Thrones. He was a pretty big bad in one of the later seasons. So, like, I mean, I guess that's where most people would know him, not you, because you're a fucking...
Yeah, fucking never watched it.
Yeah. No, he's been some shit, dude. Like, The Great Wall, not a good movie. Ben-Hur, not the remake. Ugh. I guess this is his best movie. All right,
I was going to say shit. Yeah, that's the right word. Been in some shit.
That's the one. I love this kid with the shotgun, right? Like I was waiting them just to fucking blow him away. You know?
Yeah.
Dude, Tibbet, you got to put a bell on this little fucker.
Yeah, dude, dude, Tibbet might be my favorite like comedic relief. He's fucking great. He's like Joe Pesci's like grandfather in World War II.
I was actually going to ask you what you thought about Tibbet because he's great, you know, but if you get more of him, he could be annoying. Like, you know, like he was, because he did, I don't know if you've noticed, in his first like 25, 30 minutes, all he kind of does is bitch. Like he bitches a lot.
Right. Oh, and that's one thing that I think I kind of actually like about the character is that, you know, he bitches, but he almost comes across as like the realist of the group. Like when he was talking to them, you know, that's kind of why he lays into Boyce about like the mouse and stuff like that. I really dig that. I really dig it because he's not saying like, oh, I'm better than you because I can handle this. He's like, dude, you're just not cut out for this. Like it's nothing personal. But yeah, he's kind of like, this guy could win the lottery and bitch about paying the taxes, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice. Good. Classic Colin analogy. Love it. They hole up in the attic and, you know, like I said, watch the Nazis execute this woman on the street, presumably for calling the Nazis for what they thought was for no reason. Tibbet gives Boyce some shit for not killing the mouse when he was ordered. When the mouse came back, the corporal punished the team instead. And, you know, this kind of tells us that Boyce wasn't built for this. Dude, the kid again with Tibbet, the chemistry here. It's all just pops and clicks. I don't understand what you're saying.
That's good.
Ford orders Tibbet and Chase to go see if anybody made it to the rally point. Orders Boyce to go keep her eye out downstairs. And Boyce hears the aunt from the hallway and decides to investigate. Right, like there's a decent enough jump scare here with some good practical makeup really early on. I just wrote here. She fell. She looks like something that fell off my dick.
Oh, God.
I'm just kidding, ladies. I don't have anything. Turns out she hasn't spoken since the Nazis brought her back from the church.
Oh, yeah. There's something about, like, I'm trying to think of the right way to say this. Like locking this feels like Zelda and Pet Sematary, like locking your dirty little secret up in like a room. This is very Red Dead Redemption 2. There's like that rich family that have like a mentally challenged girl they keep in a shed out back of their house. It's fucking terrifying, by the way. I can't remember the family though. But there's something about that. Just like down the hall, there's just this. And the weird thing is, it's not like she's locked up. It's not like she has chains and she's not allowed to leave the room. She just like kind of wanders that room. And it's like, that's what scares the shit out of me is that she's not locked up, but she just chooses to stay in that room, you know?
She just walks around. Like, what do you think she does all day?
Right. Like, what the fuck is going on, dude? That's creepy.
There's a lot of questions. Boyce and Chloe bond. I love that Boyce, you know, I love Boyce smelling the baseball, right? Reminds me of home. The Germans took Chloe's parents. German doctor believes the tire in the ground has some kind of power. And we get this Nazi patrol led by SS Waffner, who visits Chloe. Waffner sends his men away and proceeds to coerce Chloe for sex, threatening to send her brother to the church to be, quote, fixed. Boyce, being an idealistic soldier, cannot ignore this and interrupts the Nazi officer, and Ford is forced to follow suit and restrain Waffner. This scene is fucking intense. Talk to me.
Yeah, dude, I love this because, you know, Boyce just kind of has that, you know, this guy would be a great Captain America. You know, Boyce is like, no, I don't care if it benefits me or it doesn't benefit me or I might get killed or whatever. This is not right. And, you know, they one thing I really dig is that the fact that they don't be like, you know, that he starts writing like Chloe's name in his notebook with little hearts around it and stuff. Like there's no romance in there. There's nothing going on. You can tell. I feel like he is kind of sweet on her, you know, but it's just because she's foreign, she's a beautiful woman. She's taking care of this sick aunt and a baby brother. So, I mean, there is something like right away that you're kind of, you know, attracted to. But at the same time, I think there's something in that where like, yeah, he fucking hates the Nazis, but there is I definitely feel like there is some kind of attraction there, but it's just not something where it's like, you know, she's like, I like the story about the mouse. You know, it's like it's a little flirtatious, but it's also kind of like, it's just kind of sweet at the same time. But yeah,
I'm glad they didn't go down like a romantic route. Like,
right.
Sorry.
Right.
Like, it's just something the movie really didn't need, and I'm glad that they picked up on that.
Right, 100%. So wait, I'm sorry, I'm lost. Are we at the part where the soldiers have like left him alone with her, and they put the rifle to the back of his head?
Yes,
that's the part we're at.
Yeah,
okay,
we're here.
gotcha.
Yeah, we're covering this whole kind of thing as a chunk.
No, you're good. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, the fact that the guy fucking spits a loogie on the ball and throws it back to the kid, I'm like, you asshole. But dude, yeah, as we were watching this, he starts, basically, like, it's not a thing enough. Like, it's not enough for him just to rape her and be done with it. The fact that he wants her to be like, you're okay. Like, you have to have some kind of fucked up, crazy acknowledgement. But the fact of, like, as soon as it starts happening, you see that gun hit the back of his head and you're like, God, that is so satisfying, dude. It's like, if it weren't for the fact that I blow her vagina into tomorrow, I'd rip your head off. Like, fucking asshole. It's interesting too. Not a single swastika in this movie. Nowhere. There's they don't show one swastika.
I never noticed.
And
what? That kind of makes me think whether this is kind of like some kind of like splinter organization, like like whether it's that these guys have kind of like gone rogue or something like that, like Red Skull, right, from Captain America, because eventually he and Hydra go rogue, right? Like initially they do this thing for Adolf Hitler with the weapons and the Tesseract and stuff like that, but then it's like, no, fuck Hitler, I'm gonna do my own shit. Like I would buy that with this movie, except at the end, you've got Waffner kind of like monologuing about Hitler's 1,000-year Reich,
Well, and I think it's the same thing. I don't know if even in Captain America, the First Avenger, I don't remember seeing like swastikas and stuff. I know for a fact that in
Disney.
when they did like Black Ops, when they did Nazi zombies the first time around, like, yeah, there were swastikas everywhere in that theater and stuff. When they remastered it, it's all like the Iron Eagle. There's no swastikas in it.
Yeah.
And I feel like, don't get me wrong, I can understand why you'd want to do that, but at the same time, it's one of those things where, like, this is historically accurate. I also think it's important to, like, not ignore, especially in the climate we're in today. Like, you can't just ignore it and act like it's not there, because it's definitely still there. Like, this is definitely something where it's, this is not like the advertisement monsters in Springfield. We're like, oh, if we just ignore it, it'll go away. And it's like, no, this is still very prevalent. And, like, I think people should know exactly what that symbol means. And, like, just by excluding it in one movie or one video game or whatever, it's not really going to change like a lot of perception to it. Like, I understand the reasons why, but I also think the reasons why you should keep it in, to me, outweigh why you shouldn't, because it's like you kind of there's a reason why that should be remembered, of like, hey, this is probably the worst atrocity in human history. Like, we should probably not just throw this thing out. Like, I get it. You don't want to expose more people to it and be, what's that? That symbol's cool. No, it's not. No, it's fucking not, Timmy. But I think it's important historically to keep that in there of like, no, this is fucked up, and there's a reason why it's fucked up,
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. Like, it didn't even occur to me as I'm watching this movie. I've seen this like 4 times now, and it didn't even occur to me once that there was no swastika in this movie. I don't know if it was a conscious choice to remove it. Like, do you reckon it was?
That's gotta be.
It was like
because when he pulls that gold-plated lighter out, I think it's got like the lightning bolts or something different on it.
Yeah, it's got the eagle.
Right, and it's not the swastika, and that's very common, is for them to have those lighters with the swastika on the front. Even their uniforms and stuff. And it's like, dude, come on. And I was like, I get it. I understand. It's the best of intentions, but I really don't think, historically, if you want to paint these guys as bad guys into work of fiction or whatever, I guess I can see it from both points of view. But personally, I don't think it's a good idea to just start like acting like parts of history just didn't happen. Like, that's not, I can understand like public shooters and stuff. We don't release their names anymore because you don't want to give them any notoriety. That I agree with, but we don't act like that shooter didn't exist, or act like that thing did not exist. That I don't agree with.
I just want to remind everyone that
Colin has a shaved head.
Colin has a shaved head, but also the designer for the Nazis' clothes was Hugo Boss. That is not.
Oh, shit, really?
That is a complete fact. Yeah, absolutely. Hugo Boss.
Wow.
I guess that's why they actually look so cool. the
Yeah,
leather jackets
there
and
is something
shit.
where it's like, man, no wonder the guys from Star Wars: The Empire look so fucking cool, dude. Like,
Yeah.
love those uniforms.
Right. But like for me, this scene really gave me Inglorious Bastards vibes. Like the
Hell yeah.
whole, for me, it's the questions, right? Like for me, it's the, and this is why Christoph Waltz does such a good job in Inglorious Bastards. The questions, like the invasion of the privacy. Like here, it's, what were you doing? No rabbit tonight? You didn't cook anything? Like that whole kind of like invasion of privacy and the reminder that we're occupying your country. So you have no free will or no choice in this whatsoever.
Right.
That is the horror. Like,
Right.
that is the scary part of this.
Well, and it's the walking up and being like, may I come in? And I expect her to be like, do I have a fucking choice? Why do you
Right,
even ask
exactly.
me anything, dude?
And that's just it, right? I mean, like that's what makes Hans Landau such a great character. It's the niceties, the I'm going to be a very nice about this, but I know what you have to say. Like, like I know the exact answer you're going to give. So I'm going to
Right.
continue trying to be nice and maintain this facade. Like, it's interesting that Waffner goes down that route as well. Also, her saying not tonight to his advances also tells us that this isn't the first time he's paid a visit.
Oh,
Like,
hell no. Yeah. Yeah.
this is a very regular thing. And I love that pan up, right? From the Nazi on the stairway to Boyce and Ford just like at the ready to blow his head off. Like,
Dude,
it's just,
when the second time she looks and he catches her and he's like, what's up there? I'm like, fuck. Like, stop looking. They're fine. They have a rifle and a Thompson. Please stop.
yeah. Ford reprimands Boyce, saying that this puts the mission at risk and that they need to move on to the tower as soon as possible. And he tasks him with going to get Tibbet and Chase. On the way, Boyce witnesses the goings on at the church perimeter. He sees these near dead bodies, basically husks at this point. I wrote Draga from Skyrim. There's fucking husks under the crypts and shit, dude.
Bro. They knock your
Yes.
weapon out of your hand. You're like,
Oh,
fuck, man.
For me, it's the sound of like the because like they're in the tombs, right? So when
The
you're walking past and you hear the
Yeah. Or did you hear like their bones, like their bones, like walking around? You always hear skeletons and stuff. Yeah, the Draugr, like at first, once you hit a certain level, you're like, bitch, and you just smack them. But the
It's
Draugr
one
Death
swipe.
Lords,
Yeah.
right? I'll always fight a Draugr Death Lord with like a shit weapon and just hit them with magic because I'm like, I'm gonna lose this thing, you asshole.
Right, yeah. I don't need to give you my full on greatsword. Like I'm
Right
just gonna,
now, you look like Sauron looking for a contact lens. Like, has anybody seen my lens? Like on the floor of this crypt. Like, fuck.
that's 100% accurate. 100%.
Where's the Axe of White Run? Such a shit weapon. It's terrible.
I don't remember it. It's been
I
that
think
long
you get
since
it the
I played
first.
Skyrim.
I think it's the first time you either defend White Run or you do something. I don't know, but it's when you first get it, you're like, dude, this is awesome. And then like 20 minutes later, you're like, yeah, I bought this from Brynjolf, and this weapon's way better. Right? Like, I shouldn't even have this yet. I'm way too low of a level, but he just gave it to me.
Man, like a lot of RPGs, I played it and then like I just something else happened and I just lost track and I never came back. I guess you could say I played it and then I took an arrow to the knee.
Fucking dork. The longest I've ever played a video game, I started playing Skyrim. I got off work at 6 o'clock at night, started playing somewhere between 6 and 7. I played till 9 a.m. the next day. And
oh my God.
I was doing nothing but getting my smithing to level 90 so I could wear Daedric armor. And I played it for about another week, and then I sold it. But other than that, yeah, that Daedric armor was sick. Had to get those Daedra hearts and kill demons and stuff. And I was like, dude, this is awesome.
Well, dude, like Cyberpunk comes out in 5 days, so I might be doing that. I might be doing that soon. Where are we? So Boyce, oh fuck, I already said that, didn't I?
Blowtorch?
So yeah. So he boards the back of the truck, and the dog chases him. And this is basically a meat wagon, right, heading into the church.
Ooh, that reveal.
Wild.
It's great.
Yes. Yeah, good reveal, man. This church has been set up as some kind of base of operation. We hear some like unholy like screaming from behind the wall.
Hell yeah.
What the fuck is that, man? That I don't know who they paid for that role, but he is going hard. He is going so
the sound
hard.
design is like a character in and of itself. It really, the sound design in this and the set design as well kind of takes this thing of like World War II zombie thing, but makes it dirty and grimy and like Frank Miller's Batman, like, this crunchy, gross kind of thing that everything about it is just goddamn gross and dirty. I love it.
Imagine watching this in the cinemas, dude. Like the volume's all the way up, bass is all the way up, and then it's just like you hear the sound. Even later, like I will get to it, it's the shootout, and fucking Wyatt Russell is firing that Thompson, and it's like da-da-da-da-da-da. It's like the sound of the sound. Dude, the sound of the guns in this is, I'm not going to say it's at Michael Mann level, but it's near Michael Mann level. Like, it's great. It's fucking awesome, Dan.
Those World War II guns are loud as fuck, by the way. Super loud.
Boyce comes across this laboratory where there's just hanging bags, dude, and he unzips one and this head just pops out and it's just like, what the fuck is happening here? But I love it. I fucking love it. It's gross and slimy and alien-like. Dude, the moment that always gets me, the headless woman speaking with her spine still partially intact, like upside down, and she's like, yeah, that's fucked up, man. Boyce finds Rosenfeld, but also witnesses this doctor injecting some serum into a soldier, and they manage to escape through the sewers.
I love this because I thought when he found this guy, you say it's Rosenfeld, the guy he finds on the table?
Dude. Right. Just before you do go on, like he says in the plane, he's like, can you imagine if the Germans capture a guy named Rosenfeld? What the fuck they do?
Oh, dude, I didn't catch that. No, I absolutely love the fact that he catches him and he gets out and they all live. And like, I really kind of thought that like they were going to pull a John Hurt and they were going to get him back to that attic and he was going to, and like something was going to happen to him. Like it was going to be, just a time bomb basically. But the fact that he actually lives and like, dude, I thought something was going to happen to him on the way there once he got there. But this guy like survives. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, I really dig that. My complaint about this movie is how the ease of which Boyce is able to get in and out of this place. It's like, that's fucking ridiculous, dude. I was like, I played the facility in GoldenEye. All I had was a silenced PP7 and I barely made it through that shit. But this guy might as well be like, hello, Henry, and like waving to the doorman on his way in. And the hilarious thing is as I'm watching this, I'm like, just steal a uniform. And then I'm like, well, I don't think they're going to believe you're a Nazi. I was like, I don't think this guy can just steal a uniform and pull like an Indiana Jones, because he's black. But no, no, that's because I'm sitting there watching like white guy me. It's like, just grab somebody's uniform. And I'm like pulling Indiana Jones. I'm like, oh, fuck, wait. But the ease of which he just comes in and out of this thing, I was like, dude, you might as well be checking into a hotel. Like, come on, this is a little silly.
Yeah, look, I guess you can compare the Nazis to stormtroopers. Right? Like they are one and the same and super ineffective. But yeah, like I agree. Like it's not really something that I bumped up against the first time around, but yeah, definitely taking notes for it this time around. I was just like, yeah, that is a little heinous.
As well have a hall pass.
Rosenfeld surviving and then like blowing those people away later with that MG42, dude, like that is super satisfying,
Hell yeah, love it.
But we'll get to that later after our break. Guys, we'll be right back with more Overlord. See you soon.
G'day gang, it's Matt from Midnight Double Feature, and it's time for a commercial break. I know, exciting right? Probably a favorite part of the episode, I'm sure. If you want to support the show, please consider giving us a 5-star review on iTunes to help us rank up in the charts and expose us to more potential listeners. Also, to make sure you're not missing out or anything, please consider following us on social media. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the works. And if you want to get to know us more personally and our community, join our Facebook community group, where we post memes, polls, trailers, and more. And you can get in all the fun with the MDF gang. If you want to be a super fan and show the world, why not pick up a t-shirt or coffee mug at our store, midnightdoublefeature.com. And if you want even more content, be sure to check out our Breaking Bad podcast, Bad Crystal. And if you want even more content than that, you can join the Green Room by signing up for our Patreon for access to bonus feed episodes, discounted merchandise, and more. And if you want even more content, geez, dude, calm down. That's like a lot as it is. You're getting a bit of a stalker now. Don't get too greedy. Damn. There's always older episodes you can check out. Seriously, dude, just dial it back a bit. Seriously. Wow. Anyways, back to the episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are freshly squeezed, as we always are, after our break. How you doing, Colin?
I'm doing good, buddy. How you doing?
Good, man. I am ready to get back to the village, to World War II era France, the place where you want to be in World War II. I mean, of course.
Right.
And here we are. They get back to the house. Boyce is freaking out here, telling Ford about everything he's witnessed, experiments on the villagers. And I love Wyatt Russell. Boyce, did you get eyes on the tower compound? Like, he is just so focused on his objective, man. Like, it's good stuff.
He's commanding. I like that a lot. Like that. He's like, later on, he's like, that's an order. It's like you feel that sound design makes it like cuckoo, very big.
I mean, you know, he's a chip off the old block, right? Fucking McCready's son.
Yeah.
We see that Boyce managed to grab one of the syringes as well, and they interrogate Waffner, right? He claims he has no idea what the doctor does. This is war, yeah. Fucking German as shit.
They Guantanamo Bay interrogate him, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, this is exactly. Sorry, I didn't fully hear what you just said, but you said it. You mean enhanced interrogation?
Right. Which this scene, it is kind of funny because I see where Boyce is coming from. He just can't stand to watch even somebody who's a Nazi. He can't stand to just watch somebody be tortured. But I'm like, maybe hang back on this one. Like, I think this is okay. Right, exactly. I'm sorry. Like, if you're talking about like just a German foot soldier, like some of those guys really didn't know what was going on. Like, especially people who were deployed in other parts of the world and stuff. Like, there's insane footage of them like sitting in a theater and somebody showing them footage from concentration camps and all these Nazis and, you know, German soldiers like, oh my God. And like their faces are covered. Like, I had no idea what was going on, which, you know, that may or may not be true depending on the person. But and this guy, this officer, yeah, he fucking knows what's going on. Cut this guy's tongue out, dude. Like, fuck him.
No, absolutely. And I think Julius Avery knows that as well. Like, that's why he makes him as menacing and as vile as he does. Like, I mean, like, this is someone who in our first introduction to him, our first real introduction to him, he is attempting to rape a villager. Like, you know, like there is a reason for that. You know, we are not supposed to love him. We're not supposed to feel sympathy at all.
Right. Well, in the moment where she comes in and stabs, I don't want to jump all over your notes, but like, when she comes in and stabs him in the leg, I was like, please marry me. I will time travel and just hang out with you on a French farm, stabbing Nazis and fucking like crazy. And it's like, oh my God, she stole my heart. She walked in and I was like, that's what I'm talking about. It's that strong, and not even a strong female character, just a character to be like, oh, this guy, yeah, fuck you, and just stabs. I was like, because she needs to have at least that one. She knows this guy on a unfortunate, way too personal level, and it's like, nah, give her one so she can like tally up her side. I love that.
Right. No, we're literally here, right? I mean, like, this is, you know, he takes a boot to the face. He said that the people have been taken to the church, have been given a purpose. For once in their life, they have value. And that's when Chloe stabs him in the leg. And, man, I love Ford's reaction. He's like, sorry about that. Sorry.
Right. like the copier ate your piece of paper. Like, sorry about that, man. It sucks.
Like it's a minor inconvenience.
Right.
They string him up. He refuses to give information. Hey, France, I'm going to win this one. And, man, Ford just goes to town on Waffner, right? Boyce has a problem with this, and he has to take a breather. I don't think he's got a problem with this in terms of, like, should we be doing this? Like, I think... Wait, do you reckon that is? Because, like, he's like... Because he does... Oh, yeah. He does kind of relent, right? He's like, oh, man, like, are we being like them? Like, you know, we are torturing a prisoner of war, technically, right? Like, that's what's happening.
Right. Well, and the thing is, it's like, yeah, you're kind of roughing him up, you know, hardcore. You know, you pull out the brass knuckles and start wailing on him. It's like, dude, this is tame compared to what I would probably do to this guy. Like, listen, I'm going to start with your pinky, and then after that, we'll see what you know. And it's like, come on, dude. Like, this is a fucking Nazi.
Yeah.
Unless this guy's a pedophile, that is the only thing worse. It's really hard to kind of, it's like, well,
no, hold on. There's the Pope, and then there's this guy, right?
There
Like,
you
there's
go. Yeah.
there's very
Right.
little, yeah.
Well, and that's the kind of thing. Is like,
all of our Catholic listeners.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I don't know to what degree do you agree with Boyce though? Of like, dude, if you kill a killer, there's still one more killer left. You know what I mean? Like you basically kind of descend to their level, but at the same time, when D-Day is on the line, you're gonna have to. I love No Russian and Modern Warfare 2 is like make no mistake, gentlemen, this will cost you a piece of yourself, and it's like, yeah, this is what this is. Like, you're gonna have to live with this. I think I can live with this. A Nazi who sexually assaults women. Yeah, I think I can. I think I can live with torturing this guy.
I think I can live with it as well. I think it's more about like. See, I don't know. I'm trying to find a way to defend Boyce here, or being like, Boyce, snap out of it. Realize that this is a Nazi who just tried to rape, an innocent villager and who has raped her multiple times before. But I can't find a way in. All I can think about is that torturing a prisoner of war is a war crime that is punishable at Nuremberg, right? Like, that is a thing.
Was that after this though? The Nuremberg trials?
Yeah, that was after this. But war crimes, like, punishing. Sorry, fuck, I keep saying punishing. Torturing prisoners of war was still 100% illegal before this, right? Like, that was definitely still seen as a war crime. So, like, it's still wrong for American soldiers and any soldier in any situation to torture a prisoner of war. Like, I'm pretty sure that was the thing still.
Well, I think your way into that with Boyce is also the naivety of like what he says. I was mowing the lawn and 3 months later I'm in France. And it's like, yeah, like this guy he did not sign up. He is not a violent person. This is a guy who didn't even have the heart to squish a mouse. So it's like, even if, this guy is a Nazi and he's, a rapist and stuff, like, I think it's a bit of naivety of like, dude, you have to understand what you're dealing with here. And I think that's why he kind of relents and go downstairs. He's like, you know what? Maybe this happens and maybe it needs to happen, but that doesn't mean I have to be a part of it,
Right, exactly. So after a while of some face smashing, right, Ford comes downstairs with Tibet and apparently, Waffner relented. He ended up caving and telling them that they have about 40 men inside the wall. Right, and like this sparks a bit of a discussion. Tibbet says that's way too many. We can't do this, but ultimately they like this wins out. Right, like they're still wanting to assault the compound. They know that they have only about 40 minutes before their troops hit the beaches of Normandy. This needs to get done. And that's something I love about World War II movies. Like, it's that whole kind of like, we understand the odds. Like the odds are not in our favor at all, but we need to grit down and get this done because, and I hate to quote it again, but it's for the greater good, right? Like the greater good.
Right. The greater good.
Exactly. Chase goes upstairs to cut down Waffner. And this starts this whole kind of sequence, right? So Waffner gets the jump on him, a struggle ensues, resulting in Chase taking 2 to the chest. Bang, bang! Man, the sound of the gunfire and the sound of that pistol going off in the cinema, I remember jumping. I remember like, holy fucking shit, man. Like, that is, I can't say that it was unpredictable because you kind of like got a bit of a sense as to how this was going to go down. Like, Waffner is huge. Waffner is a massive guy. Like, he is a big built guy. The actor that they got like to play him is a big guy. And Chase is a thin guy. Like, he's super skinny. So, I mean, like, I was like, all right, surely, like, I don't think Chase is going to win this by any stretch of the imagination. Taking 2 to the chest, dude, I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, that is crazy.
Well, it's also like, he's kind of a goofball. He's nice. He's funny. He's probably the nicest person in the group next to Boyce. But it's also the fact that you're a fucking photographer, dude. Like you're not some badass like sniper who like, blah, blah. It's this guy who's a fucking photographer. And when they start struggling and he screams for help, I was just like, oh fuck, man, this is hard. And when he gets shot, I think the filmmakers ultimately kind of realized the impact of this, of like, You know, it's not one of these like hard ass soldiers getting killed in a line of war that knew what was going to happen. It's just this young, kind of bright, optimistic. You know, like who is I'm sorry,
Chase.
Ford is.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Chase is the guy that gets shot. Ford is Little McCready, right?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I got their name fucked up. But the fact if this were like Ford or Tibbet or something, you'd be like, well, you know, it's not great, but I understand. But at the beginning, when Chase is like, hey, do you mind staring out the window? And like, I can take a picture. He's like, yeah, fuck off. And it's like, you know, he's not as soft as Boyce, but kind of, you know, and I think that's what really sucks is seeing him die. You can really feel it, you know. I think the time that the small moment that they spend with the music swelling, everybody around him, everybody's exchanging looks. It's like, this feels so appropriate, and you really feel like the weight of this death, and I think why they linger on that as well too is after he pops back up, you're like, oh shit, like you kind of like jump a little bit, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that about Chase, because like he's a private, right? Like Boyce, he's a private. It's literally the lowest rank in the United States military, right? I mean, like Ford's a corporal, right? Like, you know, you had the sergeant who's the next higher up became Woodbine. So, like, yeah, man, like, you just got to remember that these are boys, right? Like, these are not men. These are not people who have led long and luxurious lives like the guys who actually ordered these guys to go into war, right? These are boys. These are boys. These are foot soldiers. And that sucks, man. Like just taking two to the chest like that, it's hard. It's hard to watch. But he's not out for forever, right? I mean, Boyce just comes in, dude. I love this tackle from Boyce, just bringing down Waffner. It's like a full-on shoulder charge.
Oh, you feel it, man.
Dude, he should have been in the fucking NFL. Like, that fucking shoulder charge is awesome.
When he hits him, it's a big meaty smack. You're like, oh, yeah. good hit.
Again, the sound design in this movie, it's just really punchy, you know? It hits you with a lot of bass.
Right.
He was asleep, mutters Chase, like, as he's dying. Is it bad? Is it bad? Don't let me die, okay. Man, like, all of this stuff is brutal. You know, asks for his camera and he bleeds out. Boyce injects him with the syringe, and as soon as they give up hope that it didn't do anything, Chase just jerks up, inhaling. Man, I love Ford just dropping his bag immediately, just being like, what the fuck? Like, you know?
Right.
Just like, shit.
This feels like Mia Wallace coming back in Pulp Fiction.
Yes,
you know, that's what this feels like. But yeah, and
shit's like for real when Ford is surprised, right? Ford, the more experienced soldier, the one who really wants to get this mission done, that he's the one taken aback by all of this.
Right, hell yeah. Well, and the whole thing of, yeah, him getting shot was horrible and it's a tragedy or whatever. What has preceded this now is what really, like, he has now suffered a fate worse than death. You know, like, you should have probably just left him to die. But I kind of thought when he injected him, I thought it was going to be one of these things where, like, Chase is somewhat unstable. He'll be like the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, but he can kind of also, like, I can't get near any of you, but I can also really fuck some shit up if you let me in that base. Like, I thought it was going to be, like, he's not going to live. Yeah, but I kind of thought it was going to be those things of like, all right, you know, you're Banner to us, but you're Hulk to them. But ultimately, it's not. We really just need. It's actually really interesting, and it's fucked up they do it to that character, but it's also necessary to see, like, okay, this is what we're dealing with when we go in there, you know?
No, yeah, exactly. And like, I can't remember what my initial reaction was watching this. Like, I definitely remember just after he passed away, I definitely remember thinking, okay, he's going to inject him with the serum, right? Like, it has to be. Like, that's what's going to happen. I couldn't remember what I thought in terms of whether he's going to survive this or not, or whether he's going to be okay. But I definitely remember being surprised by just how brutal this was. Like, this was wild, man. Like, for me, it's the backwards spinal break, like the back spinal neck up. Shit. It
looks very 2011 The Thing, like when his head is backwards and stuff, but drinking the water, crushing the metal canteen. But it's also his delivery. This actor is amazing, where he's like, man, I feel really good. I'm thirsty. He's like, oh, that's weird. And he like crushes the canteen. Like, because at first you're kind of like, okay, cool. Like, I feel a little bit better about this. And as it goes on, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Right, exactly. I mean, like he's very thirsty, he's feeling very hot, and you can kind of get a sense that the serum is making him dehydrate. His body starts deteriorating, starts having spasms, backward neck break is intense. Apparently, it also gave him super strength because, man, he's throwing these guys around like they're ping pong balls, right? Like,
headbutting the support beams and shit.
Dude, insane. Ooh. And I love Waffner. You asked what the serum was, Corporal. Ugh. And then Ford just lays him out with his Thompson, right? Fuck. Just a couple of back shots there. 1,000-year Reich.
Thompsons, dude.
Yeah, me too. That was like my gun of choice in like I think World of War. World of War was that.
Oh
yeah. 1,000-year Reich needs 1,000-year soldiers. Chase gets back up and Boyce just goes ape shit on his face. What do you think about this?
Ugh. I like it because it also shows Boyce. He does kind of had the testicular fortitude to, do what needs to be done. He's got the balls to go in there and kill somebody if he has to. But it's also the fact that I feel like Boyce also hits a point where he's like, this is my responsibility. I created this and I need to be the one to I let the mouse in. It's time for me to squish the mouse. Right. I like that a lot. And there's something interesting too about it. Like, these guys aren't zombies, but you pump his whole chest full of a whole clip of taunts and nothing happens. But then we smash his head, and it's like, okay, so these are zombies now. You got to go for the head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I felt it too, man. It sucks because he acts it so well. The guy that plays Boyce, you can see the weight in his face, just how hard of a decision this is for him.
Right.
And just doing what World War II soldiers did, this needs to get done. I need to end his life. He's gonna go because I did this. I created this. In the scramble, Waffner manages to escape with Chloe's little brother, and more Germans arrive outside. And this is the gunfight I was talking about. It's very brief. It's very short. But man, the sound of the guns are amazing. You got Tibbet up in the attic firing down, and Ford close range with the Thompson. Man, fuck. Good stuff.
There's something about that rifle, the ping.
Yes.
Like that. I love that sound of the gun being cocked and the shell flying out. Like, God, I love that. And Tibbet's a badass, dude. He does not really miss in this movie.
I want to say, okay, it's either the M1 Garand or it's the Kar 98. I think it's the Garand. That's the one where it's single fire, and then once it's out, it goes ping. And then,
I think you're right, because I think the Kar 98, this is my video game knowledge.
Yeah, same.
When the Kar 98 has to be cocked each time, but I think the Garand, you can fire 5 or 6 shots with it or something. I don't know. But playing World War II games like Axis and Allies, I played on PC back in the day.
Medal of Honor, dude? Like Medal of Honor Frontline.
So Rising Sun. Yeah, those were the ones I always played. And then one Garand and a Thompson, I was set. Or the oil guns, the MP40s. Loved them, dude.
Oh, dude! Later, when the soldiers have the MP40s, man, I fucking that was again
the grease guns.
Yes, amazing. Ford says they're not the mission; they need to take out the tower, and Boyce doesn't want to leave the boy. I gave you an order, shouts Ford. Right, I love it. This is awesome, dude. This is, it is cliche, right? It's the private standing up to the corporal because he's making what he sees to be a bad decision, but the acting here, right? The intensity that both of them give is fucking awesome, and again, does not need to be the acting of of this caliber does not need to be in this movie, because don't forget, this is a Nazi fucking zombie movie. It could be schlock, but it does. Again, I'm glad that it's here. It's amazing. It's fantastic.
Well, yeah, and I like the fact that, Ford has basically been kind of pushing Boyce around this whole time, being like, hey, this is an order. You can't save the sergeant. You can't save this woman. You can't do this. And he's just like, no, fuck you. Yes, we can.
He stands
we
his
can
ground.
do both at the same time. Right. There's no reason why we can't do all of this at once. And he's got a point. He's like, why can't we just go in there if we're already there, if we're already picking up milk at the store, why don't we get coffee cream? It's like, we're already here. There's no point in not doing it.
It's not one of your best analogies, but I'll take it.
No, it's not. It's not. I'm 4 hours into recording. I'm fucking drunk and tired. No, I'm just kidding.
We're nearly done. And I'll just fucking rush through this. And guys, we'll see you next week.
No,
Midnight Double Feature.
I'm just kidding. No, I would. After this, I'm going to go write my own Nazi zombie fan fiction.
Fuck yeah. Am I a character in that? Do I get eaten first? There's a lot of meat to go around.
It's erotic fan fiction called Richtoft's Revenge. No, I'm just like Tina from Bob's Burgers. She's like, it's my erotic friend fiction.
But I love.
Imagine Tina Belcher and Overlord, or like any scene.
I love Tibbet of all people, right? Like he's the one that relents. We can grab the kid as a bonus, right?
Right, rubbing off on him. I really, really like that. It's a good character moment.
Absolutely. Back at the lab, Waffner just starts injecting himself multiple times with syringes. And we get the dramatic reveal of his look, right? Like the half of his face being blown off. This is, I don't know if this is CG and makeup together.
Probably.
I can't tell, but it looks, either way, it looks fucking great. Like if it is CG, it looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely got some digital on it. If it's not totally digital, it's a little meet and greet of both worlds.
Right. Chloe creates a distraction, leading this guy on the bike away. She runs far, man. Like she takes off. Like she runs far. I'm not even kidding. Like she's goddamn
like a French Usain Bolt. Like she's gone.
Literally, she's outrunning this guy with the bike.
Right. Well, and the dude on the bike, when he takes those curves, is like, what a pro, dude. This guy is acing it. Like,
right. On the bridge, this crap looks like he's trying to fuck. Right? I mean, I got a bit of
dude, yeah.
He looks down at a breast at some point, and I was like, all right, that's enough for me. I know what you're trying to do here. Your intentions are not to kill her or anything. It's a bit more than that.
There's a faraway shot when she first starts running across the bridge right before he cuts her off that I'm like, this looks like Sanford from Hot Fuzz. Like, like that bridge. I was like, this feels like Hot Fuzz.
Good pull. I like it. But that guy takes the butt of a rifle to the face, and then, dude, hard cut to him riding the motorcycle into the perimeter, mouth taped. This shit is great. Talk to me about this, man. This is fucking awesome.
Right? Yeah. This there's some movie that I'm drawing a blank on that this is exactly what they do that it reminds me of it. Well, what is it? Is it Die Hard or something? I can't remember what it is, where they open up the door and there's the dude with the bomb like strapped to his chest and it's a dead body, but I'm blanking on exactly what it is. I don't think it's Die Hard though. The Punisher, when he sends the ice bucket up and he pulls the champagne and it blows the C4. Yeah. Sorry, that's what I was thinking of. But not only that, I mean, there's these guys, their faces are melted, they're missing legs, and here comes Tibbet just like, ping, 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 and I'm like, no mercy. I'm like,
it's beautiful,
that's
man.
Amazing, man. Like, the best part of this whole exchange, though, is like they start pinging off guys, they're dropping Nazis left and right, like pieces of sauerkraut falling off a hot dog. But the best part is, they're pinging these guys, and, we've got, what is it? You say it's Rosenfeld. Is it Rosenbaum?
Yeah.
Rosenfeld.
Yeah.
Rosenfeld on what looks like an M45 or an M60 or something. I don't know what that is.
MG42. That was like, man, that was my go-to light machine gun in World of War.
Oh, hell yeah. But the moment that those guys come out the door and Tibbet's like, you got people, and dude, he just unloads, and it's that over the shoulder looking down on the, oh man, that is beautiful. Perfect. Cause it's also a guy who's been captured and tortured by these guys for him to be like, it's like, oh dude, the revenge he must feel. It's like, fuck you, dude. Like, I love that part.
And I love them kind of like bickering too, right? Like he's reloading and he's like, it's a fucking 2-man gun. What do you want from me?
Right.
And of course, I got to mention it, man. Like the grenade in that guy's mouth and his head popping off first before we get the giant explosion. It's fucking awesome. It's good stuff. Meanwhile, Ford, Boyce, and Chloe enter from beneath the sewer. She doesn't have time to wait, so she goes looking for Paul and they split up. I love her coming across these two soldiers. And dude, without hesitation, she asks, where is Paul? This guy on the right is just like, I don't know where Paul is. She doesn't fuck around. Bang! Just executes that guy.
Which, is an awesome scene, and I'm also like, does none of this draw the attention of anyone nearby?
Right.
And I'm like, this is ridiculous. But yeah, I love the fact she just lays this motherfucker out, that, you know, just some German asshole. Because of what cracked me up is as she's hiding, she hides behind the wall. I was like, dude, is this seriously going to be another one of those things where everybody hides and nobody has a confrontation?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact she just turned the corner and pulled out a gun, I was like, thank you. I was like, fucking thank you.
Yeah, I mean, look, the budget's not that small, right? I mean, like, we can play with some
Right.
gunfire here. Ford setting timers for 18 minutes. The boats land on Normandy Beach in 20. Chloe and Boyce link up and they're hunted by this creature. All right, let's talk about this. This is awesome because this guy, the one guy that's left, this Nazi, leads Chloe to this cell, opens the cell, Paul's not in there, and Boyce manages to save Chloe just in time, and we leave that Nazi in there to be absolutely defiled by this creature. One of my favorite shots in the entire movie, dude, the silhouette shot after that creature just kills the soldier and, like, you know, he's lifting his head up and there's blood just cascading from his mouth.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I dig it. It looks like fucking Ryan Reynolds in X-Men Origins. Like, it looks, just this ball dripping mess, like
Right.
Neo in the Matrix coming out of the fucking tubes.
I love it.
But the irony in, like, trying to lead someone to their death and you end up falling in the grave. Like, that's fucking great, dude. I love it.
It's like fucking Boba Fett falling into the Sarlacc pit, and it's like, you helped us get here.
I feel like the zombie was like, no, she's cool, dude. Fuck you, and like ate the Nazi instead.
Right. They find Paul, but the creature catches up to them. And again, the makeup on this creature is fantastic. You know, it's all. I believe that one is all practical effects. I'm not sure about Waffner, but I'm sure about this guy. That looks really practical to me.
I wondered if he was an amputee because he's running with like half an arm, and I was like, I wonder if it's not. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he is. You know,
we don't do too much research here in Midnight Double Feature, so we'll let you guys decide if that's an amputee. But I love the movements, right? Like, the movements are really jagged. Like, you know, they're very like
herky-jerky.
Yeah, it's like robotic looking. Oh man, it feels like someone just is getting used to their body. Like, you know, it looks like someone
every zombie in this movie moves like Vincent D'Onofrio in Men in Black.
Nice.
Like, everybody has that herky-jerky, but it also feels like something that's like erratically hitting the nerves in your body with a hammer, and it's like can't like this weird. It feels like a signal that's being shorted out constantly. It doesn't hit the full relay. There's something about that that's just like that herky jerkiness of it.
Yeah, like the serum is getting to their nerves, and like they're unable to control like their limbs and stuff. It's good stuff, man. They struggle. She takes it out for a brief second, but it chases. Oh, dude, like, yeah, she fucking pulls the gun up to its chin and like it just fucking blows it apart. But it chases her to this tunnel where she manages to torture it in the most badass moment since fucking Ellen Ripley in Aliens, dude. I love this. I love this.
That felt very Inglourious Bastards, very The Thing. That's really what I dig, was like just baptism by fire.
Yeah. I just wrote, I'm at full sail because that's hot as shit.
Yeah.
We get the battle between Waffner and Ford, right? Like, this is pretty extended. You know, we can just kind of pick and choose our moments here. Because the Doctor and Boyce is also kind of like having a bit of a struggle.
It's cutting in and out a lot, yeah.
Yeah. I had so hoped to see you again, Corporal. I wanted to thank you for helping me become the man that I am. This one, Corporal, I'm going to win. Like, he's doing the, you know, the bad guy monologue thing. Like, you know, it's...
Right.
We see
He's a Nazi. That sounds right.
He is a Nazi. I guess they did create monologuing, right? Pretty unsurprisingly.
1938, they came with monologue.
There you go. They fucking bombed us with monologues. I was about to make a Pearl Harbor joke, but I'm not going anywhere near there. I'm sorry. we have lines here on the podcast. There are lines. Unsurprisingly, Boyce takes out the Doctor with his own scalpel, no less. And I'm just like, did you see that guy? Like, I don't know if they were trying to make us feel that this was a physical struggle that Boyce was not going to get out of, because this guy was in like a suit, and he's old as shit. Like, ain't no way he was going to win that, man. Like, there's just no way.
Well, once he lost the gun, I'm not surprised he just like ran away. Like, dude, you better fucking run.
Right.
This guy's like half your age and twice your size. Like, come on.
Literally. Outside, Tibbetts rescued Paul running in the middle of a firefight, which is, again, really, really great because, you know, we saw that initial setup between Tibbet and Paul already, and Tibbet takes a bullet to the back, right?
Yeah, I felt like when I first saw it, I was like, it's going to be fatal. And then once I was like, nah, he's like on the ground. He's like, is that kid all right? It sucks. It sucks, man. And I was like, I'll be all right. He's cool. He's good.
I'm from Jersey. Yeah.
Right.
I like this firefight, man. Like, anytime we get a firefight in like a French village like this, like it looks, you know, everything's blowing apart. There's debris everywhere.
Oh,
you know,
she runs up and just murks those dudes.
With an MP40, dude.
I am dripping fucking wet right now. Like, good God almighty.
Colin is ovulating.
Invade me like the beaches of Normandy. God damn it. Hiroshima me, please. Jesus Christ.
Blow me apart like the millions of Japanese people. I can't do that. Oh boy. Where are we?
Oppenheim me, please. Jesus. No,
Make me your Manhattan Project.
Yes. Good God, this woman.
Waffner hoists Ford up onto a hook. This is brutal. Again, Wyatt Russell's really selling this, man. Like, the screams. Ugh. And Boyce manages to save him in the nick of time, firing an entire clip into Waffner ineffectively. Of course, Waffner again is monologuing like a classic villain in between all of this. You like her. Sweet Chloe, I'll tell her goodbye for you. Hitler's 1,000-year army will take over the world. I don't know why it sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger a little bit, but whatever. You can, you know, you've seen this movie, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Ford injects himself with the serum, and he and Waffner have a Hulk and Abomination-like battle.
That's being generous.
Yeah. This is, they're throwing each other everywhere and shit. Yeah, go on.
I really kind of thought that it was going to be more Ford. Like, I thought Ford was going to kind of start, you know, like growing some shit. Like, but he just he doesn't take as much as John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, whatever the German's name is. Waffner, yeah, there you go. He doesn't quite take as much, but it's enough to, like, this feels very Logan, where he takes, you took out a medicine. Like, it feels like him shooting himself up with all that green shit. But I do love it. I think that seeing Ford at the beginning, and they're talking about him being in Italy, and I believe that was supposed to be, they're indicating that it's really rough. Like, when he was in Italy, it was extremely, like, violent. So to see him kind of in this, and to see everybody else dead, I think it's kind of a given. I was like, I don't see this guy making out of here alive.
No.
You know?
No, absolutely. And, like, this is that, I guess, tragic, heroic, you know, corporal of, like, leader of the squad kind of thing, where the leader gives the sacrifice, right? It's the leader who's sacrificing his life for the people that he is in command of. I believe this. I like it. And, like, again, Wyatt Russell's kind of, like, intensity in this role really, really, like, pushed us to this position. Like, you know, he's fantastic. Ford rolls a gas canister by Waffner's feet. I love both of them laughing, like Waffner and Ford. Like, you know, Waffner's just like, oh, what the fuck are you going to do with that gas canister? Until Ford gives Boyce the signal to fire. And presumably, this is enough to kill Ford, but oh no. Ford locks the gate knowing what he's going to become, right? Which is tragic in itself, right? Like, he just locks the gate and he's like, dude, leave me down here. I know what I'm going to become. He tells Boyce that he didn't get the timer set and that Boyce will have to take it down. Ford says that this shit, our side shouldn't have it either, and that it should stay buried here with them. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the fact that it's basically saying, you know, on
this
either
is
side
inhuman.
of this,
this is
right.
He knows that this is, like, what they're doing here is, like, you know, a crime against nature.
Right. I mean, and it's one thing if, like, if you have people that are, you know, I'm trying to think of the right way to say this. You know, if you're bringing people back from the dead, if you're doing experiments and stuff like that, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm saying that's one thing. But to give this to like living, breathing soldiers, you know, it's like, this is not quite, you know, we are not hanging out with Stanley Tucci and Tommy Lee Jones, you know, pulling off
I'm not being a facetious Australian here, but I wouldn't put it past the American military to use this. Like this.
Oh yeah,
like, you know.
No, at some point, I mean, look at MK Ultra. You know, them trying to do the same thing with like LSD. So I think that it's also Boyce understands he's naive, but he's also not naive enough to be like, oh yeah, sure, this will go into the right hands and like it's being looked after better men. It's like, no, this is not. It doesn't matter who has this. Right. This will not be no top man or woman can handle this. You know, this doesn't matter who it goes to.
Absolutely. And it's bigger than a government, right? Like you can't trust the government to look after something like this. Like, because you know the kind of corrupt shit that they're probably going to use this for, right?
Right. Well, you're going to end up having like Rick and Morty Cronenberg monsters running around everywhere, fucking eating each other and shit.
Of course. I love that you can see Ford's face kind of like already morphing. Like, you know, like he's got the veins, the bloodshot eyes, you know, like it's, again, really good stuff.
That sucked, man.
Yeah. He grabs an explosive, lights it, gives his final order to Boyce, and tells Waffner that he's done with his lighter and proceeds to just fucking light the place up. I love this, man. Like, again, a great exit. And this disposes of Waffner. It also disposes of the church. This begins this huge single take shot that I love. And yeah, it is digital. Like, you know, like it is. I know you're making the face.
Okay, there we go. Cool.
I know you're making the face. I don't know. Like, it's something, again, that this movie didn't need to do. Like, you didn't need to do a single take kind of like escape sequence out of this entire church.
Yeah.
But I like it. I dig it.
I like it. I think that there's something about the whole, like, you know, seeing the car that's driving, and as it's driving, the road is falling out from underneath it and it's barely making it. And I'm like, I don't care because I know this guy's going to live. Right. Like, there's nothing really in it for me. But the
spectacle, Colin, the spectacle.
Yeah, and you know, they should probably stick to practical effects because the digitals don't look great. You know, it's like it doesn't really. You know, I get it, the explosions and stuff, and that's cool, you know, but I don't need to see him being like Tom and Jerry cartoon, like ran out of the building, you know. I dig it. Especially once he finally is like out and that cloud just like follows him as he runs. It's like, that is cool. Maybe just do that. I was like, because I don't really need to see him like pulling American Ninja Warrior, like running all over this bitch, you know. I don't really need that. Yeah,
that's fair enough. Like, eventually you get to a level of like, you know, not very credible. Like, it's really not that credible. But like, for me, I love the single takes. Like, for me, single takes just elevate everything to me. Like, you know, like, well,
you know what I would love to see if they just had like a Wes Anderson shot just on the like where he runs out of, and it's just exploding inside, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And you see him run out the side. He's like, fuck.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like, kind of like a profile like shot. Yeah.
Right. That's something I would love, is like we're having to watch it from the outside and just kind of theater of the mind, exactly what he's running around in out there. Yeah.
Would have saved a shitload too. But I mean, like, I guess with this kind of movie, once you're here, you're here, right? You need the big climactic, you know, sequence. Like, this is that kind of movie. Right. Mm-hmm. The people of the village are hearing the radio telling them that the boats have landed in Normandy and have commenced the attacks on the beaches. Boyce arrives by himself, beaten and broken and covered in dust. His commanding officer asks why they blew the tile from below and asks whether he saw anything else down there. Some talk about
Whoa, wait a minute.
What?
Went past her boy. Yeah, Boyce! The little French kid, dude. Love it. I laughed out loud. I was like, what a cute-ass little kid.
I know.
Fucking love it, man.
And you know what? I actually have that in my fucking notes. God damn
I swear, because I don't know. Has the kid spoke? I mean, he screamed and stuff, but I don't remember the kid ever like speaking English or French or speaking at all. So for him at the end to be like, yeah, Boyce.
He spoke French because
okay.
That's the line that Tibbet says. It's all just clicks and pops and noises. I don't understand what you're saying.
That's right. Yeah, seeing him in English going, yeah, Boyce. I was like, dude, that's fucking cool. I love it.
For sure. Boyce tells his commanding officer that all he saw was the tower control room, of which there is nothing left. Right? Pretty cool moment. Do you think he buys this? He buys this, right? But I mean, like, I don't think that they don't go look around down there, especially when they already have suspicions that there's a Kraut lab down there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 because it's also the day after D-Day or the day of D-Day. So it's like, maybe we have some other stuff on our plate besides digging around in some rubble right now. But at the same time, part of me is like, it's the U.S. government. They're not just going to be like, oh, sure, we'll take your word for it. Like, they send somebody down there. It's some bureaucratic half-assed attempt to be like, yeah, we looked around, we poked a stick, we drank a beer. It's nothing down there. It's like they can't just take you for your word. They've got to go down there and look themselves. So
exactly.
I think they look half-heartedly, but, I'm also wondering, like, what the fuck is going to be brewing down there in 25 years? Some Chernobyl type shit,
Dude. Literally, you need to get some fucking men to clear the rooftop. Like, it's insane.
Right.
We close out with Boyce telling the squad that they're being folded into C Company. We got to get Tippett to Hitler because he's going to pop him, and then they all go home. And that's it. Overlord.
Love the kid with the matchstick in his mouth playing cards. Like, you fucking sweetie pie.
He's been Americanized, dude. Like, that's what come on, that's what we do, right? We roll into towns, we pretend to be the saviors, and then we integrate them into our society, right? That's what we do as Americans.
And the kid's got like the baseball the whole time. You can tell he's so like Joe DiMaggio. Like, this kid wants to be American so bad.
He's me, right? I mean, like, big growing up, like loving like LA and shit and Hollywood, and then eventually going to Hollywood and seeing all the homeless people and being like, yeah, I love this place.
Yeah, I'm good. Do you want to do final thoughts or listener comments first?
Let's do listener comments, and then we close it off with final thoughts.
Okay, gotcha. I'll go first. I got one pulled up here from Instagram from Corbin James. Thank you for commenting, Corbin. Yes, very excited for this one. I recall thinking it looked interesting in the trailers and was pleasantly surprised upon watching the movie by how well this movie was done and balanced between war and a horror flick. It reminds me of Rodriguez's From Dusk Till Dawn. Goddamn, I didn't even catch that. And how the switch was flipped halfway through. Overall, a super fun watch and have recommended family and friends to check this one out. I thought this was like, you watch this with your family, like on Christmas morning, like, like type shit. Hope to see more from the director, especially given the beginning sequence of the jumpers. Not the best shot by any means, but one that was definitely one that has definitely stuck with me anytime I think of Overlord. Excited to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions. Stay safe out there and happy holidays. Oh, what a sweetie pie. Thank you, Corbin. I appreciate that. Thanks for commenting, dude.
That's awesome, man. Thanks so much, Corbin. We really appreciate it, dude. And thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed the episode. I got one pulled up here on Twitter from Corey D on Twitter. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I seem to recall it being really entertaining. And I think it was, man. I think I've seen this like about 4 times now. I saw it twice at the movies, and I've seen it once for the podcast and once before. I still find it really, really entertaining. Like, I think it's got great characters. The setting is really well realized given the budget. And, it's got that right amount of like schlock to it too, right? I mean, like, you can't do the dramatic reveal of Waffner turning around to the camera and showing us his face in a dramatic reveal in a movie like Saving Private Ryan. You just can't, like this movie knows exactly what it is. Like it sticks with the tone all the way throughout. It's entirely consistent. I've also got a comment here from Facebook, very briefly, from Dean from LSG. Thanks for popping in, dude. He says, very fun and enjoyable flick. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Short and sweet. Love it.
Short and sweet. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here at Midnight Double Feature to cover Overlord. We hope you enjoyed it. This is probably not going to be our last episode before the holidays. We're probably going to get another one in there, another feature presentation in before we do. What is that? That's 14 days. Yeah, I think we're definitely going to be able to get another one in there, hopefully. If not, we hope you guys have a great and safe and happy holidays. We hope you guys eat a lot of food, right?
Yep.
I mean, we're gonna keep our feeds going. Breaking Bad will be back in January. We're going to keep Midnight Double Feature going. We're definitely going to keep the Green Room going. We're going to keep a lot of content going there. I am hoping to get us all four like together again for another top 5 kind of like episode for the bonus feed.
Nice.
Hopefully keep that going. Yeah. So yeah, that's Overlord. If you guys want to head to Facebook to follow us, head to the After Party. That's 3 words, the After Party. That's where you can get in on the action in terms of commenting and in terms of getting your comments read on the show. Or, you know, if you just want to comment about memes or like post about news or post about jokes or whatever, what have you, as long as it's somehow or even tangentially related to movies, get your thoughts and opinions in there because we love to see it. Also, if you're on Instagram, our handle is @MidnightDoubleFeature. Twitter is @MDFPod. If you want to rate and review us on iTunes, we would love that. Please rate and review us on iTunes. We are still a show that is trying to get our word out there. So any thoughts or opinions you have about the show in terms of constructive criticisms or anything you would like us to fix, you can please just email us, midnightdoubleFeature@gmail.com. We have our Green Room members. To become a member of the Green Room. Holy shit, man! This is becoming so long now. We're gonna do.
What do you think at the end? I'm like, if you want to find us on Instagram, is now I sound like an auctioneer like whenever I do it. Literally, patreon.com/midnightdoubleFeature. That's patreon.com/midnightdoubleFeature. We've got a lot of movies over there already. We got The Mummy. We got Freddy vs. Jason. We got House of Wax. We got Reservoir Dogs. We got so much more planned. Man. What else is there to say? Right? There's literally nothing. I think I've done everything. All right. Well, we'll catch you guys later. No, just kidding.
I fucking love it.
You are bad at ending these. You are so bad. You just don't know how to say goodbye.
I just wanted to say it. Look, I have attachment issues, right? Like, I have attachment. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here at Midnight Double Feature. Do you have anything to say, Colin, before we head out of here?
No, stop by, rate and review us on iTunes. Let us know how we're doing. We hope you guys have a good, happy holidays, and we will hope to catch you in the green room.
Nice. Catch you guys later.
Seacrest out!